So now that we've talked about epithelial tissues, we're going to move on to connective tissues, which help to connect epithelial tissues to the rest of the body. Connective tissues function by forming some of the structural framework for the body. They help transport fluids, they're involved in the protection of organs, and they help to interconnect other types of tissues. Lastly, they also serve as energy reserves. Characteristics of connective tissue include cells that are widely spread out. This means there's a lot more extracellular material that surrounds the cells. Connective tissues are vascular, which means we will see blood vessels running through these tissues. Connective tissues are very diverse. The composition of matrix goes from bone, which is very hard, to blood, which is a liquid. There are many different types of cells that make up the various connective tissues found within the body. These different types of cells include macrophages, which engage in phagocytosis. We talked about this during the cellular level of organization. Adipocytes are fat cells and make up adipose tissue. Mesenchymal cells are stem cells that will repair and replenish the cells of connective tissue. Melanocytes are pigment-producing cells. Mast cells are cells that produce histamine and play a role in immune function. And lastly, there are fibroblasts, which are cells that produce the fibers found in connective tissues. There are 3 different types of fibers found in connective tissue. The first is collagen. Collagen consists of long, straight, and unbranched protein chains, and it is very rope-like. Collagen makes up the most common type of fibers found within connective tissue. Elastic fibers are thinner fibers, branched, wavy, and can be stretched. Reticular fibers are a type of collagen, but they're very fine collagen fibers, and they help to form a branched, interwoven framework within the tissue. Ground substance is fluid that surrounds the cells and fibers within the tissue. Ground substance can be a thick fluid like found in blood or a solid material like that found in bone. The ground substance is produced by connective tissue cells. When the ground substance is combined with the fibers in connective tissue, it is referred to as the extracellular matrix. Let's look at how we classify connective tissues. There are 3 primary classifications of connective tissues. The first is connective tissue proper. Connective tissue proper consists of loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue. Loose connective tissue is like packing material. It has a more viscous matrix. There are very few fibers, and it's really good to occupy a lot of space around organs. Dense connective tissue, on the other hand, has a lot of fibers and much less matrix. The second classification of connective tissues is fluid connective tissue. This consists of blood and lymph. Lymph is also known as interstitial fluid. In liquid connective tissue, the matrix is an aqueous solution. We will talk about blood and lymph in A&P2. The third type are the supporting connective tissues. These are made of bone and cartilage. Bone has a solid matrix, whereas cartilage has a semi-solid matrix. Okay, we're going to look at some different types of connective tissues. So we're going to start with areolar connective tissue, which is a loose connective tissue. This tissue is a loose array of elastic and collagen fibers. The ground substance is a semi-fluid matrix. Areolar connective tissue is the least specialized of all connective tissues. This tissue is found between the skin and deeper structures. One great example of areolar connective tissue is superficial fascia. This is sort of a cobweb-like material that lies between the skin and the underlying muscle tissue. Adipose tissue is also loose connective tissue. This is also known as fat. Adipose tissue consists of adipocytes. Adipocytes have what we call a signet ring shape. Think like a solitaire diamond engagement ring. The nucleus is pushed off to one side, and they have this very large fat droplet that makes up most of the cytoplasm of the cell. Adipose tissue provides padding and serves as a shock absorber. It helps to insulate the body, and it stores energy. Adipose tissue is found in various areas of the body, including deep to the skin in the buttocks, in the breasts, around the eyes, and around other organs in our body. There is both essential and non-essential fat. Essential fat is found within various organs and is essential for the function of that organ. Non-essential fat, on the other hand, is primarily found under the skin of the hypodermis. This is the type of fat that generally is used as an energy reserve or a way to store energy. Reticular tissue is another type of loose connective tissue that consists of irregular networks of reticular fibers. Reticular fibers provide a supporting framework for various organs and is sometimes referred to as the stroma of the organ. Reticular tissue is present in many different organs, but we find it mostly in the liver, kidneys, spleen, lymph nodes, and the bone marrow. Dense regular connective tissue consists of parallel bundles of collagen fibers. These parallel bundles of collagen fibers are in between rows of fibroblasts. Dense regular connective tissue is very strong and makes up the tendons that hold muscle to bone and the ligaments that attach bone to bone. Dense irregular connective tissue, on the other hand, contains collagen fibers that are arranged irregularly in bundles around fibroblasts. This type of connective tissue provides strength to resist forces that may be applied from many different directions. Dense irregular connective tissue is found in the dermis of the skin. This type of connective tissue makes up the capsules that cover organs. Next up, we have our supporting tissues. These provide a strong framework to support the body. We'll talk about bone later in the next unit, so instead we'll focus here on cartilage. The matrix of cartilage is sort of like a firm gel and consists primarily of chondroitin sulfate and proteoglycans. Hyaline cartilage is the first example of cartilage. Chondrocytes are the cells that produce the matrix associated with cartilage. As the chondrocytes produce a glossy matrix, they become trapped in a space called a lacunae. These lacunae are kind of like little homes for the chondrocytes to reside. Cartilage is avascular, so you will not see blood vessels running through the course of cartilage. Instead, you find them on the periphery or outside of the cartilage. Hyaline cartilage provides stiff yet flexible support and helps reduce friction between bony surfaces. Hyaline cartilage is between the ribs and the sternum. It covers bones at joints. It's part of the larynx, the trachea, and the bronchi. It also makes up the nasal septum. Hyaline cartilage is the most abundant type of cartilage found within the body. Next up is elastic cartilage, which looks very different from hyaline. In elastic cartilage, there are numerous elastic fibers that are surrounding the chondrocytes in lacunae. Instead of a smooth, glassy matrix like we see with hyaline cartilage, we have these elastic fibers running through it, and it's also avascular. Elastic cartilage provides support while also being flexible. We find it in the external ear. It makes up the epiglottis and is found in the auditory tube. Fibrocartilage is our third and final type of cartilage. There is actually very little ground substance associated with fibrocartilage. As with all other cartilages, there are chondrocytes trapped in lacunae and surrounded by lots of collagen fibers. The matrix of fibrocartilage is densely interwoven collagen fibers. It is avascular like the other cartilages and serves as a shock absorber and helps to prevent bone-on-bone contact. We find fibrocartilage between the vertebrae and pubic bones. Our last topic for this chapter is on membranes. There are several different types of membranes found in the human body. Mucous membranes, or mucosa, is a membrane that lines body cavities and the surface of internal organs. It consists of one or more epithelial layers overlying a real or connective tissue. Many mucous membranes are covered with mucus, a thick, slippery secretion composed of inorganic salts, antimicrobial enzymes, and various proteins. Mucous membranes provide protection against pathogens and prevent tissues from drying out. A serous membrane or serosa is a smooth tissue composed of epithelial cells and connective tissue that covers the inside wall of body cavities. Serous membranes are commonly divided into visceral membranes lining the outer surface of organs and parietal membranes lining the inner cavity walls. A small space filled with serous fluid is found between these tissue layers. The serous fluid and serosa are commonly found on the surface of organs that move, such as the lungs or heart. The cutaneous membrane is also known as the skin. It's a dry membrane that is organized into two layers, the epidermis and dermis. We will learn more about this membrane in the next chapter. This ends the tissue level of organization, so you can use the learning outcomes here to create a study guide for yourself. Additionally, there is a chart that you can use to help you practice the identification of connective tissues and epithelial tissues discussed in this chapter.